Hot topics. Great topic, by the way, Angela. All
Great
right,
topic.
Thank you. Thank
I've got an interesting one, a nice fun one. This is definitely some truth and shenanigans. Word is from the head of U.S. intelligence, China. China is actively working
you.
on creating genetically modified super soldiers. Yes, exactly like all the movies and comic books. A few movies come to mind like Universal Soldier, Wolverine, of course, Captain America. There have always been rumors of governments, including the U.S., doing this, but um, this is being confirmed by several of the big bosses at the CIA and intelligence. So, my question is real simple. Real simple. Will the next Captain America be Chinese?
Mm.
Come on now.
So I'm starting with
Come
Rob
on.
B. I'm starting with Rob B. Rob B.
Well, if we look at wow, like really just from a tech perspective, from a production, from a government setup perspective, China has a strong and rich military history. They have a strong and rich technological history. Um, if we think that this hasn't been happening, the tests have been there. Absolutely. It's the fact that they're reporting on it comes as no surprise to me. So biologically enhanced soldiers versus cybernetically enhanced soldiers, all of this is happening in tandem. So yeah, if we're going to see upgraded troops, probably veterans who have lost limbs will be first ones to be up for the real nice enhancement package. But yeah, I, it's not going to be long before we see this, Neo. It's going to be the norm.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually genetic enhancement. So they're like manipulating DNA to get the best features, human features. Lizzie?
I mean, I think the bigger question is, and something that we need to think about is the next Black Panther going to be Chinese? I mean,
That would be interesting.
that's my counter to your question. My second question is: so is this China getting to Trump's space force before Trump does?
That's a good question. Good question. What about you, Angela? What do you think?
Because the Chinese have
Yeah,
recently been to the moon.
That's
Mm?
true.
I mean, just to
I kind of
piss
feel
us
like
off, I think so. Yeah.
yeah, I agree with both of you. It's not new. It's kind of been going on. It kind of feels like the U.S. is kind of tattletelling or just trying to like, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's
That's
how
what it
it
seems
feels.
like. That is what it seems
Yeah, and
like.
it's like y'all doing it too, but whatever. And I don't know. I think it's kind of dope. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't feel that way, but I think just like it's kind of interesting. And when you talk about like superheroes and nerdy stuff, I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope. I don't know, but I just think it's like a whole lot of tattletelling and just look at what they're doing, and to also create, this kind of media rivalry with the enemy, so that you can, appear to be this war hero when you do whatever you do. It's a whole little game. It's a
Mhm.
little distraction from what's really going on as usual.
I
But
mean,
even based on
good.
very quickly, based on everyone's comments here, it sounds like a new version, a 2.0 version of the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas now, we're not, in this, I guess you could call it a virtual war, if you will, with Russia. Now it's China. And we all know, at least from the current president up until January 20th, he hasn't, Russia has been his ally, which is something new for this country. China has been his adversary. And so this just adds another layer onto that and just opens up the conversation about, okay, this is what they're like Angela said, this is what they're doing. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God. So now we got a one up then, if you
I,
will. So
I'm
yeah, I
curious.
think this is the new
Does anybody
war.
think
I
that
think
we're doing it?
of course we're doing
Okay,
it.
just want to
What?
make
Yeah.
sure. I think we're all in agreement that we're definitely probably doing some type of genetic modifications in secret.
Listen, you tell us. You work for NASA. You tell us.
That we don't deal with. That's the DoD. They do that stuff. NASA's just trying to go to space and get to Mars.
Yes, you tell us. You tell
Yeah,
us.
And
yeah,
we weren't
yeah.
trying to tell the whole world I work for NASA.
You said it before. said it before. It's no
Did
secret.
I?
But
I don't think I said it before. I
yes, you
think I've
did.
avoided saying it.
You said it.
But yeah, so no, I'm certain that we're doing it at some point. But I agree with some of the comments online I'm looking at is they're saying that we're probably more towards robotics, and cybernetics, like Robbie was saying, which, yeah, I think genetic testing, I think it's interesting and there's probably some value to it, but ultimately, I think cybernetics and robotics is where it's going to actually, we're going to come out at.
But stop and think of China's history, even where sports are concerned, where they have done selective breeding. They've paired Yao Ming is a product of selective breeding. Okay, your father is a gold Olympic basketball player. Your mom is a gold Olympic basketball player. We're going to make a super basketball player out of their genetics, and they did. So this is not a new concept for China. Now they're just going to be doing it in the lab rather than pairing off the right people.
Yep.
Which technically is amoral here.
It is amoral.
That's another.
It is against.
But it's
simple.
not amoral. It's not as amoral in China, if you will. But here, you couldn't publicly get away with that, publicly boast about that here.
No.
Yep. I see a comment online to you, Lizzie. China was Trump's adversary, but they gave his daughter patents. Mike Winter's like, they've been rebooting the Cold War for almost 20 years. And Kevin Thaxton says, please don't talk about space farce.
I mean, up until January 20th, we still got to talk about it.
Hopefully, we won't have to talk about it anymore.
I mean, Neo could probably tell us more about it, but now he's trying to
the space farce. Yeah, I can probably talk a little bit on that. I can't talk about the super soldier stuff. All right, let's move.